All right, so let's try this one. So this question has a lot of the mistakes you normally make. So we have this one here. We have this one. We have some mistake in this one, and you have some mistake in this. All right, so let's tackle them one by one. All right, so for number one, right, so the question asks us to express it in harmonic form, right? So the three things you have to remember is that for Fourier, there's a sum of sinusoids, right? So all the sinusoids, in addition to them being in cos and sine form, have to be positive, right? The second thing is in the harmonic form is only cos's, so you need to convert all the sines to cos, right? And in the brackets, you cannot have these minuses here. So you need to bring it out, right? So everything have to be in the form of cos x, right? No minuses. And if you're adding them together, it has to be positive, right? So in this case, in number one, we have minus 3 cos x. So it's already in cos form, and the x is positive, so that's good. All right, but this minus has to go. So we need to know how to convert. So this is converting minus cos x to cos x. So we could use Desmos so we could see exactly what we're doing. So right now we have minus cos x, right, which is this here. Right, so right now we want to get cos x. Right, so clearly we're seeing that the lines don't overlap, right? So it's not the same, right? So to get minus, so it to be the same, we have to do, we need to add pi, right? So if you add pi to the cos, it will be the same as minus cos x. Or I believe you can minus, I believe. Yeah, so you can either minus or add it, and it will be the same. Right, so minus cos x is the same as cos x plus pi or cos x minus pi. So in this case, for this case here, what we need to do is so that end up being 3 cos, and we will just add the pi, right? So that's done, right? So for number two, we have two problems. One is sine, and two, we have a minus outside, right? So let's start with the first one. So we have minus sine x. Let's convert it to cos first and then swap it. All right, so let's convert it to cos. So we need to know how to convert sine x to cos. All right, so go back to Desmos. So we have sine x, and you wanna convert it to cos. Right, so let's see. So if you try pi on 2, that doesn't give it to you. All right, minus pi on 2. Nice. So now what we learn is that sine x is the same as cos x minus pi on 2. Right? So get right that down. So right here we say sine x is equal to cos x, what did they say? Minus pi on 2. Right? So that is something important. Right? So let's do it here. So we'll leave the minus there, we just work with the sign. Right? So we have a minus, and that will be cos x minus pi on 2. Right? So just like before, we learned how to convert a minus cos to cos. So you just add pi to the angle, right? So this will finally end up being cos x minus pi on 2 plus pi. So that'll end up being cos of x, and that'll be plus pi on 2. Yeah, so that's that piece done. All right. All right. Third one. This plus is cost, but this minus is our problem, right? So we need to factorize the minus and bring it out. So let's change the color. So we have cos minus x, what was it? Plus pi and 2. So we need to factorize the minus, so we need to bring it out, right? Can't just bring the minus out one time because the entire thing has to be factorized, right? So it's to be cos minus x, and this will be minus pi and 2. All right, so now we could bring the minus out. Why? Because cos minus theta is what we did, is equal to cos theta, because cos is a even function, right? So this will finally become cos of x minus pi on 2, right? And that's done, right? And then we have the other one, number 4. So we have sine minus x plus pi on 4. So change the color, sine minus x plus pi on 4. So similar to the first piece, we need to get rid of this minus here. So factorize it. Right? And we can bring out this minus. So in this case, sine minus theta is minus sine theta. Because sine is an odd function, right? So different from cos. This even and this odd. Right. So now this will now become minus sine of x minus pi on 4. Right, so this and done yet. So we have two things to get rid of. We have the minus and we have the sine. So let's tackle the sine first. So that's why before we learned that sine x is cos x minus pi on 2. So we just subtract pi on 2 from the angle. So we end up with minus sine, sorry, minus cos, right? X minus pi on 4 minus pi on 2. Yeah, then now that will become minus cos of x, and this is 45. We want 35. Right, I'll just like that as for it's we want to tweak it do the longer way. So to do the fractions as a quarter plus a half, so that is 3 pi and 4. So yeah, right ladder. Right. So nice. So the last thing we have to get rid of is the minus in front of the cos. And just like we did before. If we want to get minus cos, so cos x, we have to plus pi. Right. So this will just end up being cos of x minus 3 and 4 plus pi. Right. So that's will end up being cos of x plus pi. Yeah. And that's it. Okay, this one was a lot. So this one here factorize. Pull up the minus. We use this here. Then we end up with the minus and the sine. So we got the sine to cos, which is this piece here, by minusing pi and 2 from the angle. End up with this here now to get rid of the minus. We add pi to the angle. We end up with this final piece here. Right? With that said, those are the mistakes students normally make. Should remember it. So just a recap. This first piece here, the rule that you needed to know, it's minus cos x is equal to cos x plus pi. So it's our plus pi here. Right. Right. This is what you have to remember for the first piece. So anytime you see a minus of the cos, you need to get rid of the minus, so just add pi to the angle. The second thing is when we have a minus sign and we want to convert it to cos, to convert the minus sign. So the first thing you need to do is to convert the sign itself. So sine x is cos x minus, so you're basically subtracting pi and 2 from the cos. So now it's in cos form. And now to get rid of the minus, you just use the same rule that we did on top. You just add pi to the angle. Right, so for 3, anytime you have a minus inside, so similar to what you will see here, you'll see looking like this, you'll end up with minus 2 pi f naught t plus pi and 4. So this looking similar to what you'll actually see. The x is just representing this, right? So for this, what we have to do is you factorize the minus and you pull it out. So cos, because cos even, it would just end up being cos of 2 pi f naught t minus pi and 4. Right, so that is similar to what you will see, right? So let's use the x because obviously I don't want to write 2 pi f naught t over. Right, so that's the third one. The fourth one was kind of everything together. So you have to factorize, right? Then you have to convert the sine to cos. Then you have to convert the cos into plus because it's a sum of sinusoids. Right, and with that said, that's the end of it. Be safe. Remember these things.